the contributions from those outside of Trinity College. So once you've had a little browse of the book, you'll understand who it is. So we've had some fantastic contributions, ecumenical contributions as well, so we're grateful and thank you for coming today. I'm going to hand over to Emily.
I have the huge privilege of being one of the 3 editors of this book, Theology as Threshold, along with my colleagues, Masili Rakuta and Sune Kavia. Now, I cannot take credit for the idea of bringing together a whole bunch of preeminent theologians to reflect on theological education in Aotearoa and Oceania. That was all Sione and Masili. They're the real geniuses behind this operation. So the project started a while back now, in 2017, and we put out a call for contributions to a book to explore theological education in Aotearoa and Oceania, to look back on where we've come from, but also to look forward to what might be. And we framed it around this idea of threshold, where we gather the wisdoms from Aotearoa and Oceania to identify intersections and openings in the theological landscape and to find ways to navigate between them. So we weren't interested in removing or getting rid of these intersections and openings. We were keen to locate and to clear the openings between bodies that had been separated and divided in the past. So our work sits amongst these intersections. And so once we got our core group of contributors, we organised a seminar hosted by Trinity College, where we could gather whakawhanaungatanga and workshop our ideas. The seminar was kind of a platform for imagining the future of theological education and how the contributors, as practitioners and educators in Aotearoa and Oceania, might shape the future. This is, just as an aside, always my favourite part of the writing and editing process, when we meet our kanohi to share our ideas. And the friendships and the connections that emerge out of that taunoa are, for me, hands down the best bit. So we gathered at college, and we made, as a group, we were made up of practitioners and educators from Trinity College, from the University of Otago, from the University of Auckland, St John's College, Laidlaw College, and Malua Theological College. And we represented Methodists, Anglicans, Presbyterians, Roman Catholics, Mātauranga, Congregationalists and Baptists. So we're a real ecumenical bunch. And at our seminar we shared, we challenged, we wrestled, we debated, and we sharpened our thinking around theology as threshold. And then we went home and started writing up our chapters. And as another aside, that's my least favourite part. No, I'm joking. It took a number of years for these chapters to take shape and to be polished up. There was the small matter of a pandemic, and of course we all work for the church, so we are always pulled in multiple directions at the same time. But here we are, finally. Tara's going to talk a little bit more about the shape of the volume, I think, maybe? Oh, I won't preempt anything you're going to say, sorry. But as editors, we wanted to think about theology not as a product in the sense of something that explains revelation or scriptural teachings and doctrines, etc. We wanted to think about theology as a space that's been experienced as prohibited and prohibitive, but also as a space that's an opening and an invitation. So we hope that threshold theology will be challenging and troubling and exposing, but we also hope that it will be relevant and inspiring and life-giving. Now, I know that a kumara is not meant to sing of its own sweetness, but I think I can say this because I'm an Anglican and technically an outsider to all things Methodist. So, I do think it's important to note here the role that Trinity College is playing in leading the conversation around theological education in Aotearoa and Oceania. We're a small college, but we are absolutely at the forefront of theological scholarship. We're at the forefront of working out what it means to do theology that comes out of and speaks into this part of the world. And I'm not sure that the church often gets to see its college shining in the broader ecumenical theological landscape. But I don't want you to underestimate the significant role of your college in this space. So as we mark 200 years of Methodism here in Aotearoa, I think it's really worth acknowledging and celebrating that. I want to many to the contributors who are here and whose work really sits at the heart of this volume. Nasiri, Taroha, Bella, Keita, Sione is in Denver, George is in India. Thank you. To Gillian, whose absolutely stunning sculpture appears on the front of our volume. Thank you. Thank you. To Tara and to the Methodist Church who helped fund this project, thank you for backing us. It means a lot. And to everybody, please do engage with this work. The last thing that we want is for it to sit on the shelf in the library. So grab yourself a copy and do continue the conversation, because it's just an invitation to begin. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
And greetings to those of you who are online. It's good that you can be with us. Can everyone hear me okay? This is my very first time that I've been asked to do a book launch. Yes. No, it won't be the last because there's 2 more coming. So I'm sure I will get better as we go along. And Emily asked me to talk about the shape of the book. But I was thinking to myself, actually, what happens when words leave a page? What happens when they take flight? And when they find their way into the strangest of places, where we might not imagine to find them. What could happen then, in that space? What happened for us yesterday is that in our space of the auditorium, suddenly people came together to celebrate when words encounter mind and heart and soul. A full body experience. When words bring Trinity College graduates to stand before us and to be received with gratitude and thankfulness, because in them we know that our words continue, and in them our words take flight. The shape of a book is always the shape of the people at any given time who encounter, who touch, and are touched in turn by what is inside. And because of that, they enrich both what is here, but more importantly, and in our particular case, They enrich the church. Yesterday at the graduation ceremony, we were privileged to have Reverend Dr. Mary Cagle give a keynote address in which, quoting Brueggemann, she challenged us with this notion of disorientation and the flow of what it takes to reorient ourselves always. And reorientation, surely is that not transformation? And are we not charged, as we say in our mission statement, to reflect and proclaim the transforming love of God? This idea of being changed, of being. In this book, the shape of it, in which I hold before you, someone wrote these words. Theological education should prepare people to become agents of transformation and not ecclesial puppets. Theological education must prepare agents who are called to speak out for and stand with those in the margins of church, academy, and public, to tear down the borders that exclude and to build the bridges that link, to expose narratives of domination and to retell stories of love and peace, to break traditions that kill and to create new traditions, healing and hope, to disrupt violent supportive systems and to promote fullness of life. This is what theological education is meant to do. I stand before you talking about the shape of the book to say that Nasili, principal of Trinity College, when he wrote those words and put them on these pages, did more than just leave them there. Him and the colleagues he has at the college, then let those words fly and transform the minds and the hearts and the spirits of all those people who walk through Trinity's gates. And we as church are charged then to be as equally transformed and to privilege this amazing Trinity College we have that allows such powerful words to come to life. Because as Trinity College is a source of hope and healing, so too is the church charged to be that same thing. The shape of the book is the shape of our connection together as we're together. Each and every one of us. As the words take flight into the hearts of others, so too do our collective dreams and aspirations of who we want to be as church. And we might forget the people's names who wrote these words, but the power of those words will remain with us always, if only because we will see them in the actions of the people around us who continue to make this church one in which we are happy to call ourselves Wetiana. For all its failures and its limitations and the heart heartbreak it brings to us. Let us not forget Mary's words. For all the disorientation that we must go through and the pain. Surely, we do so in the hope that we set ourselves on a pathway and we are committed to follow that. I don't know if that's what you wanted for Shape of the But it was interesting. I've heard people were reading already chapters. My sister, she was reading this book before me, and already she wanted to talk about it so early in the morning, and I had to say, okay, let's set another time. But one thing I want to talk about also, and just a quick word. Words are one thing, but images are another. Words can create image for you. But when I look at what Gillian created, we cannot get beyond this idea that this here is sufficient for us. Our hearts and minds are touched by art, by waiata, by all those things that maybe when we were growing up we were told were kind of lesser value. Please study, 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 and do well in your exams. But the power to unlock our creative spirits and unlock our imagination comes when words and art come together and give us other pathways to explore. And so I'm so happy to be surrounded as I am by artwork, by the creative spirit of people. As we're Tiriana, we always sing together, and that's another example. And so Trinity College is a lot more than just academics sitting there learning and readings or whatever. But rather, it brings the essence of who we are as whole beings, a whole body, full-body people, and brings that to bear in the thinking and reflective processes. So I say thank you to Trinity College and to the colleagues who put this together, the editors, and I encourage you to buy the books, purchase them, and to let yourself dive deep and find resonance, and then take flight with these words. Kia ora.
So, there's some time for asking any questions, if you'd like to ask any questions, after which Arakati will conclude us with a karakia to bless us and to bless this book as it goes out into the wild. So, yeah. I knew someone was going to ask me that. And 80? Yeah, we think it's $80. That's, yeah. Yeah, yes. This is one of the constant tensions that we have when we publish academic stuff or books, is who has access to them. We are hoping that the publishing company that we work with, it will come out in a soft paperback, which will be cheaper, but at this point it's $80 for the hard copy, and that's a discounted price as well. So yeah. Yeah, it will. It just takes a while. They like to do the hard copies first, and then they leave it for a year or two, and then they do soft paperback and electronic. But you can buy it like now on Kindle. But yeah, it'll take a while for the price to come down a little bit. But it is available right now.
I think I was really struck by this notion of threshold, and was just wondering if you could maybe explain a little bit more about that, because it sounded very exciting.
Oh, I'm gonna ask Nasiri to come and talk a little bit about threshold.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Emily. When we put together the volume, we were looking for a project to mark the 175th anniversary of theological education. So we were thinking of this project and also the PhD degree. And we are glad that we have brought those two projects to fruition yesterday and today. And but we used the concept of threshold as the central metaphor, if you will, for the project, and allow those who put in chapters to bring in their own definitions and ideas on what the threshold is. So a single answer for me won't capture the diversity of ideas we have in the book, and we come from various angles, especially those from Otago and Laidlaw and others in the country. The former principal of Knox College also put in the chapter, both from the Catholic Church. So I'd like to invite you to delve deeper into the book and check for yourself the various notions of threshold presented by the authors of the various chapters. But the idea, as Emily mentioned, is to not only to rethink theological education as we know it, but also to envision together what might lie ahead. Feel free to disagree, and if you have time, do a review or critique the pieces that you read. It will help us a lot. So what we put in there is what we're passionate about. You are most welcome as a church to give us your opinion.
Do you get a discount if you do it?
That's a good one.
Shirley, the answer is like yes. No, we don't, but often if you write to a journal or if you say, I'd really like to do a review of this book for your journal, please, they'll send you a free copy. So the short answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
If anyone needs added incentive to write.
And the $80 discount, if you have 50 with you, I'll take it.
Thank you so much for joining with us. This is a really exciting moment, and I'm going to ask Alapati to conclude with a prayer and blessing.
Let us pray. God, whose word were invisible but became visible to us in the life of Jesus. Not only becoming visible but became active, participating in our own world, in our own suffering, and in our own struggles. And we give thanks to you, O God, for all the contributors who have captured your living presence and your living experience, their living experiences of your presence. We thank you for those who have sponsored to put these words not only to be captured in our hearing, but also to be kept in this book so that it can last long in its effectiveness for the ministry of training and your ministry of Te Hahi Weteria. And we ask for your blessing on this work. And not only the work that has been done, but we also pray for those who have contributed, that they may continue to contribute, to help us not only reimagine and re-envision our future, but also to help our young ones in our church to be able to bring answers to the world that we are living in our terror and our shame. We offer, O God, our thanks, and we ask for your blessing. And that is our prayer through the name of the one who is called Thy Word, who became the living, active, and participating in our midst every day in our experience. Amen.
You can grab a book and run. It's a fun tonight. How do we, so we just face up to that?
Kỹ lắm bác ạ.